Hello students, today we are going to see the index contains three topics: programming language, data, expression, variables and keywords. Second topic is of precedence of operators, how the operators expressions are executed based on the operators, that is covered in the second index, as well as the command line used in Python programming. And third one, Python interactive and script mode. There are two types of mode, and we are going to see interactive mode and script mode. So we will go for the first topic. So the first topic is programming language basics, which consist of data types, expression, variables, and keywords. So the fundamental building blocks of programming language is essential for writing efficient and structured code. So the key components include these components: data types, expressions, variables, and keywords. So first we will start with the data types. So the data type define the kind of values that can be stored and manipulated in a program. According to Python programming, we no need to declare the variables because the Python program accept the value, whichever the value which is assigned, automatically the variable will change it to the data type of that value, right? So these are the common data types in programming. So first data type is integer. So in this integer, it is representing the whole numbers. Either it can be a positive number or it can be a negative number. So integer is represented as int. So the second one is floating point. So float and double both are represented as floating point, and these are represented as decimal numbers. So the positive value with a decimal point will be represented as floating point, as well as negative numbers with decimal point will also be represented as floating point number. So here is an example which is 3.14 is a floating point number. So next data type is character, which is represented as CHAR. So it is a single letter or a single symbol that represents within single quotes, right? So if you see here, A is represented within single quotes. In Python, it will support double quotes also. You can represent a letter within double quotes or single quotes. And next comes the data type as string, so which is represented as str, which consists of sequence of characters. Character and string, the difference is character consists of single letter and the sequence of character is represented as a string. So the example here is hello is represented as a string, as well as if you give 1 2 3 within double quotes, that 1 to 3 will also be treated as a string. So next comes Boolean data type, which have only two values. Either it can be a true or it can be false, right? Either it can be true or it can be false. So excuse me. So true is represented with TS capital, as well as false is also represented as FS capital, right? So this is the representation of true and false values in Boolean in Python. So next comes a list or array data type. So these are list is similar to array in C programming, right? So, but in array, what we have represented in C programming is homogeneous. That means same types of data will be stored in that array. But in list, it can consist of any values, right? So it can be heterogeneous. So collection of values is known as list. So this is how within square bracket we are representing the values of a list, right? So each element is separated by comma in the list, right? So if you see here, the first list consists of 1 comma 2 comma 3 within the square bracket, and the second list consists of a comma b, which is enclosed with double quotes, and that is also considered within that bracket. And it is also to possibly represent the combination of integer and character within the list. So 1 comma 2, and then here a, this is also possible, right? So that is why I told it is heterogeneous compared to arrays in C programming. So next comes a dictionary as the data type. So it is represented as a key value pair. So one particular item in a dictionary is represent. So here name represents the key and John represents the value, right? Similarly, age represents the key and 25 represents the value, right? And these two items are separated by comma. So like that you can have n number of items which is enclosed with the curly braces, right? So you should understand list data type should be enclosed with square bracket and dictionary data type should be enclosed with curly braces. Similarly, there is tuple. Tuple is also a data type which is immutable. So mutable means it can be changed. Immutable means it cannot be changed, right? So that tuple will be represented with parentheses, right? So that and all we will see in the forthcoming classes. So these are the data types how we are representing in a Python programming with an example. So next we will go for the example for this data types representation using variables. So here age is a variable which is assigned to a value 25 where 25 is an integer. Automatically the variable is also treated as integer. So auto assigning of data type by the value is known as mm, data type is assigned automatically in Python, right? So next is 99.99 value is assigned to the variable price. So price data type is also floating point. Similarly, alias is assigned to name. So name data type is string and true value is assigned to is active. So is active variable is treated as a boolean data type. And similarly here if you see it is the values or in the items are enclosed with a square bracket. So as I told you earlier, if the elements are enclosed with a square bracket then that variable will be treated as a list, right? So fruit is a list here, right? So that's all about representing data types. So next we will move on to expression. Data type completed. Next we will move on to expressions. So an expression is a combination of values, variables and operators, right? So you can operands and operators can also be represented as expression where operators or what operation it has to be performed and operands are nothing but variables that is substituted uh, by its value, right? And function calls that evaluate to a result, right? So that you can also use a function call as an expression to evaluate the result. So we will see some examples of expressions here. So first one is arithmetic expression. From the name itself, arithmetic consists of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, right? So the description for arithmetic expression, all mathematical operations are represented as arithmetic expression and that is what represented here. So first expression is 5 plus 3 is addition, x asterisk y is multiplication and y minus 2 is subtraction, right? So like that we are also having division in arithmetic expression by this but in this example they have shown only addition, multiplication and subtraction. So next type of expression is logical expression. That means you have to logically verify using that logical operators like equality, not equal, like that you have to use it, right? So logical expression, that the description is Boolean logic. So here we are checking whether A greater than B, right? So you can also represent logical expression as comparison operators, like that also you can represent. Similarly, x equal to y, if both are the x and y values are equal then this will be satisfied, right? So you should know what is assignment operator, what is equality operator, right? So if you give a is equal to 10 then this equal acts as an assignment operator. If you give x equal to y, then this double equal to acts as a equality operator where it comes as under the comparison operators, right? So a greater than b, x double equal to y, and z less than 10, right? So these are represented as comparison operators which describes Boolean logic of it. either it will result true or false. That is why the description is given as Boolean logic. Next comes string concatenation, right? So we know plus is used for addition of integer value. Similarly, asterisk is used for multiplication of two integer values. But the same plus and asterisk can be represented using the operands which are string. So as I told earlier, what is operand? Operands are nothing but the variables in which the operation is performed, right? So that is known as operands. So here if you see, hello is one operand, world is another operand. So if you use plus symbol between these two strings, then you will get hello world. That means the plus symbol in integer it is doing addition operation, in string it is doing concatenation operation, right? That means plus is overloaded, right? So it is doing two jobs. If the operands are integer, it is doing addition. If the operands are string, it is doing concatenation. Like that, we can also use asterisk in the string such that one of the operands should be an integer value. So here I will show same example. Hello, which is a string value, asterisk 2. So this, as I told you earlier, any one of the operands should be a integer value in this type of repetition. So here plus means concatenation, asterisk means repetition, right? So hello will be repeated two times. We know asterisk is used for multiplication if two operands are integer, but same asterisk can be used along with the string and one integer, where that integer value will that string value will be represented two times, that number of times the integer value represents, right? So here the integer value is 2, so hello will be printed twice, right? So this is known as string repetition operation, right? So next is function calls. So function calls, you can also pass the values for a particular function where max 10 comma 20, it will return which is greater in this values, and that will be returned to the output, right? So among 10 comma 20, 20 is greater, so 20 will be returned. If it is a minimum function mean 10 comma 20, then 10 will be returned, right? So that is the use of function call. So that's all about the expressions, evaluation of expressions. And here are other examples that are shown here. So if x is equal to 10, as I told you earlier, these two are assignment statement. And next example, sum result equal to x plus y. That means it is an arithmetic expression. And next statement is greater equal to x greater than y. It is a logical expression. That means it is representing the Boolean logic. And next statement, message is equal to welcome GCT. So you can also give any other string inspect of this. Welcome GCT. That means welcome plus GCT. That means it is concatenating welcome and GCT and printing this output as welcome GCT. Right. So that's it about expressions. Next, we will move on to variables. So a variable is a named storage location for data. So the value of the variable can change during program execution, right? So here, if you, for example, if a is equal to 10, that means the value 10 is stored in the variable a, right? So that is why a is represented as a storage location for data, right? So the definition for a variable is a named storage location for data. The value of variable can change during program execution, right? So now we will see what are the rules to be followed to define a variable, right? So the first rule, it must begin with a letter. Either it can be a uppercase letters or lowercase letters or underscore, right? So these are the three combination which is permitted for beginning of the variable description, right? Either it can be a uppercase letters A to Z or lowercase letters A to Z, or it can begin with an underscore. And second rule, it can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, right? So in between, it can have any numbers also, right? So it can contain letters, numbers, and underscore. And third one, case sensitive. That means if you give small a is equal to 10, which is not equivalent to capital A is equal to 10. Both are different, right? Small a will have a different storage location. Capital A will have a different storage location. That is what the third rule. It is case sensitive. And fourth rule, you should not use any keywords to represent a variable. For example, so far we have come across some of the keywords like if, while, def, which is used for function definition, and while is for looping, and if is for conditional checking statement, right? So you should not use this keywords while you defining a variable, right? So apart from this, there are some other variables like in, and then for, and then we can represent what else, right? So like that it goes. So else, elf, these are the keywords, right? So you should not use any keywords as a variable, right? So these are the four rules should be followed for defining a variable. Now we will see examples of variables in Python. You can assign name is equal to Alice, age is equal to 25, price is equal to 9.99, which means name is a string data type, age is an integer, price is a floating point, and is logged in true is a boolean. Like that you can identify. Right. So that's all about variables. So far, what are the topics we have discussed? Data types, expression, and variables. Next, we will move on to keywords. So keywords are reserved words in a programming language that have special meanings and cannot be used as a variable name. So already we have seen the fourth rule of variable defining. You should not use keyword as a variable name, right? So same point is mentioned here for keywords. So now we will see some categories of keywords in Python. So the first category of keyword is control flow. So control flow, which determines the flow of execution where the control has to be represented, right? So the keywords used for control flow, if, else, elif, for, while, break, and continue, right? So these are some of the keywords that are used for control flow. So we know some meaning about if, else, elif, for, and while. So now what is break and continue? So if we are using break inside a for loop, for example, if I write a for loop with indentation, if you give break here and there is some other line in the for loop, what it will do after this break statement, it will not execute the lines which are after the break statement. Automatically, it will come outside of the for loop and start executing the next statement after for loop, right? So that is the use of break statement. And now we will see what is continue statement for the same for loop, right? So for we will have some condition over here, and these are the statements inside it. And continue is a statement, is one of the statement of this for statement. And after continue also we are having some other lines, right? So if continue is used within the loop, what it will do, it will skip the lines which are after continue and start with the next iteration, right? So now can you able to see the difference between break and continue? Break will break the loop and come outside of the for loop. continue, it will skip the lines which are after continue and go for the next iteration, right? So this is how it works, right? So within the diagram, you can understand how break and continue works. So next category of keywords or function and classes used under function and classes. So we know for function we are using def as a keyword to define a function, and return is used to return values for a function, and class is used to define a class, and lambda is also a macro level function representing lambda, right? Right. So next category is Boolean and none. So here we are using true, false and none, which are used as a keyword, right? So if you give variable name as true, it will not accept because true is already defined as a value to a Boolean expression. Next, exception handling. These are the values we are using, keywords that are used for exception handling. Try, except, finally, and rise, right? So, like, we are having one more statement which is else. That since we have already seen this in control flow, they have not represented here. But in exception handling, we are having the else statement also. Try, except, finally, rise. So rise is to create a new exception, user defined exception, and else is else and finally or special case, right? So else will be executed if there is no exception, finally will be executed even there is an exception or not, right? So it will executed on both the cases. If there is exception also, finally will be executed. If there is no exception also, it will be, but else it will be executed only if there is no exception in the try block, right? Right. Next, we will move on to the data handling category of keywords. So it is import, global, non-local, DEL, and pass. Right. So import is used to import the packages in the Python, and global representing it is a global declaration, and non-local represents also it's a global one, and DEL for deleting, and pass, you just give pass within a for loop, automatically it will be passed and then it will be executed once, right? So that is what pass, right? So this is an example for Python with the keywords. If age greater than 18, print you are an adult, right? So just we are representing the keywords here. If is the keyword, right? That's it. So far we have seen data types, expression, variables, and keywords. Next, we will move on to the second topic of the index, operator precedence and comments in programming, right? So first we will start with operator precedence, right? So for example, if you write an expression, a C is equal to A asterisk B slash C minus D asterisk F, like that, if you are giving an expression, the interpreter which is executing, it should know which precedent operator should be given higher priority, right? So which operator should be given higher priority, right? So that will be decided based on this operator precedence rule. So we will see how this operator precedence works, right? So understanding operator precedence ensures correct evaluation of expression, and using comments make code readable and maintainable. So first we will start with operator precedence. So operator precedent determines the order in which operators are evaluated in an expression. Operators with higher precedence are executed first, right? So if you see the previous example what I have written, so here multiplication and division is having higher precedence compared to subtraction, right? So first what it will do, it will multiply a asterisk b as well as it will multiply d asterisk f, then it will do division, then only it will do subtraction, right? So like that it will execute the expression. So now we will see how the order of precedence with the operators is represented in Python. So the first highest precedence is parenthesis, right, or brackets. You can represent them as brackets or parenthesis. So parenthesis means what we are representing with the braces, right? And the square bracket and curly braces are representing as brackets. So next highest precedence is double asterisk, where double asterisk represents exponential operator, right? So if you give 2 double asterisk 3, then it means 2 power 3, 2 into 2 into 2. So the value will be 8, right? So the first highest is parenthesis, second one is exponential, and third one is unary operators, right? So you can represent the value, one unary operators means the operator and one operand will be there, right? So if it is minus, this what unary operators, which is having the third highest precedence. And next fourth one is multiplication and division. According to Python, there are two types of division, right? So if float division and integer division, right? So float divisions means what it will do, it will result the value in a float, and integer division means it will result the value in a whole number, right? So that is what the difference. So let me give. So here if you see 10 slash 2, which is a single slash, which results in 5.0, right? So if you can write the same 10 double slash 2, the result will be just only 5, right? So that is the difference between single slash and double slash. And asterisk is for multiplication and modulus is for reminder checking, right? So it will display the reminder. For example, if you give 8 modulus of 5, the value will be 3, because 5 goes one time in 8, remainder value is 3, right? So that is what remainder operator. Next comes addition and subtraction, which is plus and minus. Next is shift operators, bitwise shift. This is left shift and this is right shift. It will shift one bit at a time. That is why it is represented as bitwise shift operators. Next precedence is ampersand, which is an AND operator, which is also bitwise, right? So for example, if you represent 5 and 3, you have to represent the bits like this: 0 1 0 1 is 5, 0 1 1 is 3, right? So if you do AND operation, if both the cases are 1, the remainder will be 1. Remaining cases will be 0 0. So 0 0 1, the value is 1, right? So you can check it out. So this is what AND operator. Next, bitwise OR operator. So OR operator, same procedure, but uh, you have to apply the OR gate such that if any case is 1, the output will be 1, right? So that is what OR operator. So now let's check the values. 5 is represented as 0 1 0 1, and 3 is represented as 0 1 1, and the OR operation of these two is 1 1 0, which is nothing but 6. The decimal value for this is 6, right? So this is what bitwise OR operation. Next comes bitwise XOR operation is over. Next comes bitwise OR operation, which is given as a single quotes, right? So not single quotes, it is name. There will be a symbol represented along with the functional keys. You have to give that, right? After tilde, uh, so the symbol is available below tilde symbol in the keyboard, right? So next comes comparison operators, equality. So this is what I told. Double equal sign is known as equality symbol, and not equal to, exclamatory mark, and equal is known as not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. These are known as comparison operation, right? So these are coming after logical operations, which is AND, XOR, OR operations, right? So next comes not operation, right? So this is bitwise and bitwise XOR. Next comes logical not, logical and logical or, right? So not is nothing but whatever we are representing, if it is false it will be true, if it is true it will be false. That is what not operation. And then and operation, if both the cases are true the value will be true, right? So that is what. And or is also, if any one is true the output will be true. So now lowest precedence is represented as assignment operator, right? Python supports augmented assignment operators also. So what is augmented assignment operators? So we know assignment operator is simply equal to, but augmented assignment operators are combination of arithmetic operation along with the assignment operation is known as augmented assignment operator, right? So for example, if you want to write x is equal to x plus 10, instead of writing the expression like this, you can simply write x plus equal to 10, right? So both the statements are same, but we are using augmented assignment operator to simplify the expanded form of expression, right? So that is known as augmented assignment operator. That is what represented here. Plus equal to, minus equal to, asterisk equal to, slash equal to, modulus equal to, double asterisk equal to, double slash equal to. That is what integer division, right? So that's it, right? So this is how we are giving the precedence operator. So in the end semester, if they are asking about precedent operator, write the operators along with the one example for it, right? So that's all about precedence of operator. So the second topic is comments in programming. What are comments? Comments are non-executable lines used to describe code, making it more understandable. Consider if you are working in a corporate company, right? So and you got an offer and you are moving for another company. So how the person who is coming after in your place, after you leave, there will be a person who is coming in your place, right? He should know what are the things you have done in that project. So comments are very much important for the documentation purpose. As a developer, if you write only the code, understanding each and every line of the code is very difficult to decode it or debug it. If you give comments for each and every module, automatically the developer who is taking the role of you will understand it clearly, and that documentation will give the clarity of the programming of so for whatever student, as a student you will do small programs, so no need for that much of documentation, but you have to cultivate the process of doing documentation such that it will explain what that particular line does in your program, right? So documentation, for documentation we are going for comments. It is a non executable line. So it is used for brief explanation. This is a single line command. If you want to represent single line, you can use hashtag, right? So all of you know what is hashtag, right? So same hashtag is used for command line in Python. And if you want to do multiple lines, which is a non-executable lines, then you have to use single triple quotes starting with it, and after writing multiple lines single triple quotes closing. Same thing you can do it for single double quotes, double quotes three times, single triple quotes, double quotes three times, right? Both are representing multiple command lines, right? Write the multiple lines and then close it with triple double quotes, right? So which is used for larger description in Python. That's all about command lines. Next we will move on to the next third index, which is the last one in this lecture. So Python consists of two mode, interactive mode versus script mode, right? So interactive mode and script mode. Interactive mode can also be represented as shell mode, right? And script mode. So Python can be executed in two main ways. Interactive mode, which is represented as REPL, read, evaluate, print, and loop. That is known as REPL. And script mode, which uses files for executing the Python, right? So the file should have the extension such that it is .py. So first we will see the interactive mode, which is represented as shell mode. We will see that first. So it runs Python commands or Python instructions line by line. And this type of shell mode is used for quick testing and debugging. Here no need for files, just type and execute the commands then and there. That is known as shell mode. So how to use interactive mode? So you have to open. So if it mostly you are doing your Python lab in Ubuntu, right, which is a Linux operating system. So open the terminal and just type Python 3. Automatically you will land in 3 greater than symbol. So if the code is typed in a 3 greater than symbol representation, then that type of Python instruction execution is known as interactive mode, right? So if you see here print hello world, then this is known as interactive mode. Then and there you can view the output, right? So it is used for quick debugging shell mode. So the key features of shell mode or interactive mode is instant execution of command, good for testing small code, and no need to save the file. Next, we will how to exit from the interactive mode. You have to use exit parenthesis, open parenthesis, and close parenthesis. Otherwise, you can use Control C or Control D if it is a Linux window. And if it is a Windows OS, Linux OS, you have to use Control C or Control D. And if it is Windows, you can use Control Z plus Enter to exit, right? So this is how you have to exit from the interactive mode. Next, we will see the script mode. As I told earlier, the drawback in interactive mode is even though it is easy for debugging, whatever commands you have executed will not be available when you are going for the next lab. That means it is deleted once you have switched off the system, right? So the script mode, since we are storing the Python files in a Python program in the files are used for permanent storage. Automatically, even though you go for the next lab, the files can be opened and you can able to view the program in that files, right? So that is a major difference between shell mode and script mode. So what is script mode? It is used for writing full programs in a .py file. So the meaning .py is the extension should be .py. The script runs on whole instead line by line. So it allows saving and reusing the code. So how to write and run a Python script, that is shown here. You have to open a file example script.py and you have to print the hello world, and you can assign x is equal to 10, y is equal to 20, and print the sum of x plus y in this format, right? So run the script in the terminal. As I said, since we are using Python 3 to log into Python terminal using Linux operating system, you have to use Python 3 space filename.py to run it in a Linux mode. But if it is Windows IDLE, automatically if you click on the run module button, it will run and you can be able to view the output of that particular file. And these are the key features for script mode. Best for writing complete programs, can be saved and reused, support functions, loops, and complex logic, right? So the comparison of script and interactive mode is given here. Execution line by line, script mode entire file, use case quick testing and debugging, Here for script mode, it is a full program representation. Files needed. Interactive mode, no need for files. Script mode, yes, it requires files. And best for interactive mode, small codes. And script mode, it is for large projects and reusable codes. So that's all about the index content, whatever we have seen so far. So interactive mode and script mode is also over. Thank you.